Hi, I'm Justine and welcome to my sewing journal. This channel is about my sewing adventures, tips, and everything in between. In today's video, I'll be working with a sewing pattern that was originally designed to be used for woven fabrics, but I thought I'll switch things up and use a stretchy fabric instead. Will it be a disaster or will it be a surprising success? Stay tuned to see how it turned out. So to start with this project, let's talk about the sewing pattern that I've used. It's the M8007 trousers sewing pattern from McCall's. It's perfect, supposedly, for an advanced beginner or intermediate dressmaker. These trousers have flared hem, belt carriers, and a fly front. Option B has front and back patch pockets, and option C has contrast panels. Notions needed are one 7-inch zipper and 2 hook and eye closures. The pattern envelope also includes the line art drawings and fabric quantity details. These details are in English, Spanish, and French. However, the actual pattern instructions are only in English and Spanish. According to the size guide, I'm in between 3 sizes. My waist measures 27 inches, so that's between size 12 and 14, while my hips measures 39 inches, so that's in between size 14 and 16. The pattern I bought is the 6 to 14 version. I thought size 14 would still fit me because I can use the seam allowance to gain the extra 1 inch I need for around the hip area. One leg area uses 4 pieces of fabric, so there should be enough seam allowance for me to use. As for the fabric, I decided to use this gingham jersey because I had in mind a lightweight pair of trousers that would be comfortable to wear when it's hot. This fabric is actually the opposite of what's recommended. It's a 4-way stretch fabric, whereas the pattern calls for something more stable. So the first thing I did, well, apart from ignoring the fabric recommendations, was to adjust the length of the trousers. The leg of the trousers measures 43 inches from the waistband. So I shortened the legs by 3 inches. I did not cut the pattern to shorten it, but rather I folded where it says shorten or lengthen the trousers. Not because I think I'm going to get any taller, although I'm still hoping for that miracle. I was just thinking if I will make a version that I'd wear with heels, I would need that version to be a couple of inches longer. As for this one, I'll definitely be wearing these with my trainers. There's 4 pattern pieces that I adjusted. That's the front, back, side front, and side back. After cutting the large pieces on the floor, I finally rested my back and cut the smaller pieces on the table. There were 10 pieces to cut plus the interfacing for the waistband and the fly. After all the cutting, I then interfaced the waistband and the fly front. The next step was to stitch the front sections right sides together at center front where the pattern says. The next 13 steps illustrates the fly construction. I read the instructions a couple of times, but I still wasn't sure what to do. So I left it and skipped all the way to step number 34, which details how to make the belt carriers. There's 2 to make for the front and 3 for the back. This did not take long, and unfortunately, if I want to make these trousers, I have to do the fly front. I really struggled understanding the directions for this part. I kept getting the left fly and right fly facing confused. At one point, I thought I got it, but then I had to unpick the zipper because I sewed it on the wrong facing. What helped me was to have an old pair of trousers on the side so I can double check the construction and then refer back to the sewing directions. So that was my process. I read the sewing instructions and then refer to the trousers for guidance, and then check what I've sewn so far. I muddled through the directions and eventually I got somewhere. I finally installed the zipper. It's not completely flat, but I'm ready to move on from that stage, so I left it as it was. The next steps were to prepare the front pockets and sew them on the front legs. Well, that was easy enough to do. On hindsight though, I should have shortened the pockets. Since I shortened the legs, I should have shortened the pockets as well, just to keep everything in proportion. Well, that's something to remember for next time. The next step was to sew all the leg pieces together. And finally, it's time to try them on. I know I had to make adjustments around the waist, but I did not realize I will be making adjustments everywhere. I took a couple of inches off the waist, tapering down to about ½ an inch round the thigh area. To do this, I also had to unpick the front pockets. I had to trim the excess fabric not just on the side panels, but on all the panels. The fit was better the second time around. It fits better around the waist, but I thought the legs were still a little baggy, so I took a further ½ an inch off. After all those adjustments, I then added the waistband. When I tried the trousers after installing the waistband, it didn't fit as nicely as I hoped. Rather than make adjustments around the waist again, I've decided to just install elastics. I think I was just getting impatient at this point. I thought adding the elastics would give me a good fit around the waist. Then of course that means I did not need to use the belt carriers I made earlier. And so that's how I made my pink gingham trousers. So what do you think of this project? Was it a disaster or a success? For me, I think it wasn't a complete disaster because I do have a wearable pair of trousers in the end. The fit was okay, but of course it could be better. Here are the things I learned using pattern M8007. Starting off with, yes, you can use a knit fabric for a woven pattern. Of course, I'm no expert and that is just my observation from doing this project. I think I would have achieved a better fit if I used a stable knit like Ponte or Scuba. The second thing I learned was to check other parts of the garment that might be affected if I change one part. For example, I shortened the legs, so I should have shortened the patch pockets too. Luckily, they didn't look too long against the shortened legs. I'd like to say that I've learned to sew fly fronts, but I haven't. What I can say is that I now have an idea of how to go about it. I should do better next time. I don't know when the next time will be, but here are some of the fabrics that I have in mind. The first one is this denim fabric from Rainbow Fabrics. I like the groovy flower design. I think it will pair well with option A of the pattern as it will give a fun 70s vibe. The next one I have in mind is this leopard print stretch denim from Fabric Godmother. Animal prints are trending again, so I think this will be a good one to make. The next one is another one from Fabric Godmother, but this time I think it would pair better with option B. It's a medium weight denim with a fun print that would be perfect for a picnic on a nice summer's day. Another one with picnic vibes is this dark indigo cotton chambray embroidered with contrasting green 4-leaf clovers. This one is from Hey Sew Sister. If I'm going to use this fabric, I would make sure there's an extra half a meter so I can make a matching bucket hat. The next one I have in mind is an ambitious pairing. I don't think I'll land on this one, but I'd like to keep it on my mood board. I like the two-tone denim pairing suggested in the pattern packet. I think a fun interpretation of this would be to combine this denim with embroidered cherries and a plain red denim. I would use the red denim on the inside panels and I would use the embroidered denim on the side panels. With my sewing skills, I don't think I can execute this idea. I'm afraid I won't be able to line up the fabrics, especially around the back. Using two colors will definitely be fun, but would also be challenging. Like I said, I'll keep it on the mood board. It's something I'd like to be able to sew in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or tips, please feel free to comment below. Until next time, happy sewing. Bye!